Good morning to you and welcome to Social Media Boss. I am Perpetual Fashion Repeater. Well, this is about Flutterwave. Flutterwave has been trending for quite a long time now, but we'll be talking about it today. Flutterwave CEO is under scrutiny over allegations of financial misconduct, employee stock option fraud, sexual harassment, and workplace bullying. In a story published April 12 on West Africa Weekly, a Substack newsletter by David Hundeyin, a Nigerian journalist, Olugbenga Agboola, that's Flutterwave's founder and CEO, is alleged to have created a phantom co-founder identity to give himself more shares in the company's early days and offered share prices below the company's valuation to employees who wanted to cash in on their vested options. These employee stock sales, the story alleged, went to an investment vehicle Agboola controlled. Now, other allegations include that he did not disclose to Access Bank, his last employer, that he was simultaneously working for them while building Flutterwave in the latter's early days, thereby taking fair advantage of his position and assets at the bank. There was also a suggestion of sexual relationships with subordinate female staff members at Flutterwave. A whole lot, really. I mean, it's not something, if you read that particular article, you see so many things, and it remains to be seen what Flutterwave is going to say or do. Now, the company faces public scrutiny on multiple issues from this week's expose, including a supposed ethics investigation by the U.S. Securities and Exchange that was in 2018. Well, this has renewed, outrage over corporate dysfunction and toxic work culture at Nigerian businesses. And so we have a lot of Nigerians beginning to look at this and beginning to talk. Remember, there was a time we had this horrible bosses. Yes.
Ebon was trending
about 2-3
then.
weeks ago.
Yeah, I think so. Ebon was trending then. But now it feels like Nigerians haven't recovered from it, but because this is a whole lot. Here we have David Hundeyin saying so many things. And it's interesting to know that even before David Hundeyin released this, he did something called head fake. He gave this fake heads up that, okay, a story is coming up. And because of that, we saw the management of Flutterwave, they quickly came up with a particular report.
Defense.
They came up with defense, and they started hunting some of their former employees, thinking they were probably the ones who offered or gave information to David Hundeyin. And that was why Clara came up some weeks ago to say that she's going to put an end to this and all of that. She said a whole lot, really. I mean, it was so long.
She accused them of harassment.
Exactly,
also.
harassment and a lot of other things. But today, finally, I mean, we have that particular report, and for me, it's a whole lot. I guess
it's a long read, actually. When
quite lengthy.
It was lengthy, or it is lengthy.
Actually.
The fact that there were different allegations as to how he had the fake partner and all of that. And Flutterwave is one of those big tech giant Nigeria companies that was making waves, especially during the NSAS protest. It was one of those big names that was put out there on social media as to when it comes to the fundraising and all of that. And so it begs the question, or it is quite worrisome, because this is one company that was motivating the average Nigerian youth, that if a Nigerian youth could do this, then you can also do it. But it's not also to say that the fact that they have these issues means that it's a general issue with every Nigerian company or every company that is owned, any tech giant that is owned by a youth. It is a one-off, and we hope that they are able to resolve it, especially when it comes to the allegations of harassment, which is a very big one. It comes to allegations of harassment and the allegation of they operating under a fake partnership and all of that.
Exactly, using that fake moniker, Greg, and so you wonder who is Greg. Greg gets some percentage, and then according to this particular report, he's the Greg. So he's two people at the end of the day.
But it is his company. So the issue with that may be that your partners or the people who are investing in the company should have some form of information as regards that. They should not be deceived. But looking at it generally, it's my company. I can decide to have different names.
You're not being sincere. You're not being sincere.
That's what I'm saying, that when it comes to the issue of sincerity and openness with investment and people you're dealing with.
At the end of the day, you're actually cheating them at the end of the day. Okay, you want to say something?
Well, I mean, everyone has had a fair share, of the story. I think it's a big revelation, and I'm hoping that there's a rebuttal of some sort, or at least a clarification of what it is. Now you had the co-founder who is no longer with the company, Ian,
okay.
you know, also talk about it on social media. He released the
he tweeted something. Someone who had left complaints to him about not getting her dues and everything, and then he tweeted something about how that the CEO, you know, doesn't let you get what is due you, and at the end of the day, they insist on you paying to or selling your stock to certain people.
So again, all of these issues brings to limelight how the business, the company even started off. He on social media said he at no point in time had he owned more than 20% in any business, including Flutterwave. So if he co-founded the company and he had 20% at the time, how you know, it tells you that Agboola was the one probably calling the shots, having been the majority stakeholder or shareholder in that sense. But having said all of this, I really hope that there's some sort of clarification or rebuttal from Flutterwave, because what he did was to ensure that he clarified his own stint with the company. He said before, you know, 2016, and when he left in 2018, you know, these and these and these were the issues. He didn't, you know, admit or rebuff certain allegations. He just talked about his own stint, and he ended up saying that whatever happened after he had left the company was none of his business. So again, let's just hope that all of these, you know, has some sort of clarity going forward, because this is really, really big.
And you know, David Hundeyin is one reporter who never relents.
He said he worked on it for 6 months. That he's been working on this for 6 months.
Anyway, let's take some of the reactions we have on social media. We have at Edirinet saying, faking identity, impersonating, and disguising your voice are basic Yahoo Boys attributes. Those are Yahoo Boys attributes. And then this person says, no, I don't want Flutterwave to be cancelled. That organization is beyond GB. Of course, it is a symbol of hope for many young Africans. I just want it to right its wrongs if possible and have better corporate governance. But no cancelling of Flutterwave. Africa needs it. I align my thoughts with this particular one, actually. Yeah. And then we also have another person here saying, I see comments on how this story will hurt African startup ecosystem. On the short term, yes, but in the long term, with more David Hundeyin, trust will come. Same stories happen everywhere. Trust comes when you know the bad guys will be exposed and won't go away with it. All right, I think I'll just take one more, and that will be it for this, and we'll move on to another story. This is from at Kofi Emeritus. At Kofi Emeritus saying, this Flutterwave issue should not have an impact on the resilience of the Nigerian startup ecosystem. It's a company, not an ecosystem scandal. There has been several similar scandals in the US and Europe, but it didn't shake the confidence of VCs, that's venture capitalists, in these regions, because people were getting scared. Like, if this continues, venture capitalists may not trust us again. They may not want to invest again, and we need this monies coming in and all of that. But then, come on, it's just one company having an issue, and it's our hope that they get their acts right. But for me, harassment is something I think shouldn't be joked with. They need to work on it, because David was talking about how that he tried contacting people who were no longer, former employees, and some of them didn't want to say anything for fear of being intimidated or harassed and all of that, which I think that's too fearful. I don't like that. If that really exists, then they should work on it. Anyway, we'll move on to the second story.
Yep.
All right, a Facebook user, Ada Oburu, has called off her marriage to one David Okiki, scheduled to take place on Saturday. Oburu made the announcement on her Facebook page on Wednesday. And then let's quickly see her Facebook post where she put out all those things. She was saying all that. I think very quickly, I'll just summarize. She said she never wanted to bring this to social media, but then she has to do this. She met this guy right from the secondary school. And then by 2021, it was hell for her. And at some point, she left home. And then after everything, both of them said, so, you know, a lot of things they've had they've had some level of traditional marriage. You have the stage 1, stage, they've had, I think, stage 1, stage 2, and all of that. But now that they're supposed to seal everything and consummate and all of that, she's saying she cannot stay any longer because this young man beat the hell out of her. She said, please, to my family and friends, I am so sorry for any inconvenience this may have caused you, but I will not end up with a man who always promised that if I didn't kill him, that he will kill me. I am still suffering from unstoppable headache I sustained from the head injury he gave me 3 weeks ago. The bride price paid will be returned in due time.
this domestic violence issue is not going away anytime soon. And that's because, what?
No, sure.
And that's because we've been quiet about it for a long time, for too long, way too long. Because, yeah, some people say in the past, women marriages lasted longer.
Those women endured terrible things.
So because they were not talking, it appeared that everything was rosy, but all was not well in Jerusalem because they were enduring a lot of things. Now women are speaking up, and I think the sad incident of Osinachi also has made a lot of women, emboldened them to now speak up. For instance, this woman, the man had no trait of battering or violence before he paid a bride price, according to the story.
Yes.
That it was immediately he paid the bride price, that he just turned that to his possession and punching bag and all of that. And I like the fact that she took the right. Now, note that leaving a relationship or leaving a marriage or leaving, even if it's just dating, is never easy.
It's never easy.
So taking this bold step is a lot, and I give her kudos. She has done well.
Absolutely.
I think it's the best decision she could, take. You look at it. She talked about he chasing her with cutlass. The mother and sister, his mother and sister has had to beg him not to, use the weapon on her. Again, how?
I wonder, how do you, not even that, how do you pick up a cutlass? Like,
how?
Are you normal? Is that person okay?
So, if such a person, just because he paid the bride price, can do that, imagine what happens when the marriage, is finally done in terms of private traditional marriage and all of that, and she moves in. So I think it's the best decision. Again, I'm really liberal when it comes to these things. All those talks of separation, divorce and all, I understand you could come from different angles, religion and all of that, but as long as there's a threat to life, there's the place of you separating and if possible divorcing if it's if there's a marriage in place. But the fact that there's no marriage in place, this is a very good one. Even if it was on the altar, right there at the altar rather, that she was about taking the vows, it's still better to dissolve it than have a life threatened being married.
I agree with you. I'll take just one or two comments and then we'll conclude. At Excel with Time says, if not that Osinachi died, they would have started bashing her for calling it off. Let me go and celebrate this one. God don't give person sense and strength to quit when she's still alive. And we have Wanya Bacha saying, congrats on having the strength to leave. It's not easy. It's not easy. And finally, at Andy Atta says, a huge congratulations to this lady. Well, while many Nigerians have joined the call for Domestic Violence Act, because of all the things that have been happening, we have Domestic Violence Act actually trending on social media. It is pertinent to know that Nigeria has an existing law which is called VAP, Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, and it is designed to tackle all forms of violence against persons in private and public life and provides maximum protection and effective remedies for victims and punishment of offenders. It's a 33-page document, and it applies in the Federal Capital Territory. But then it's our hope that it will be domesticated in all the states in Nigeria, basically.
Hopefully.
And I hope, because I hope beyond just saying that the state should domesticate it, there should be some form of impulsion or policy or some form of to ensure that the states domesticate this act.
Well, again, because it's democracy, and each state to a certain extent can always determine its own future in terms of issues like this. Not all states can be, you can't compel a state to pass it.
Well, I think we have civil society organizations who can
civil society organizations are pressure groups. They can only mount pressure. But at the end of the day, sometimes those pressure that they mount will not even amount to anything if the lawmakers do not take it upon themselves to do the right things.
But maybe they should start by mounting the pressure, because that was what happened with the Child Rights Act, which has been passed in about 23 states of Nigeria now.
Why do you have 13 states, still refusing to pass it?
Well, they will very soon.
That's the point. I'm not disputing. Agitating. What I'm saying is, I hope that without even the pressure of the pressure groups, that each state, the individuals that make up those state legislature will take it upon themselves to see reasons to do it.
Well, it's a wrap on this segment. Thanks for watching. I am Perpetua Fasamupita.
My name is Omobolanle Adeshi. It's been a pleasure hosting you to today's edition of IBrand Daybreak. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
And I'm Samson Oloide. Do have a great day.